Welcome back, baseball fans. Time for another episode of the Vegas Nine Ball. And without further ado, let's jump into the nine ball for the day. First card is Las Vegas legend Pete Alonso for the Mets. This is a vintage throwback card, a heritage version, Topps Heritage. And Pete Alonso will always be a legend here in Las Vegas. He was a member of the Las Vegas 51s who played in Cashman Field in downtown Las Vegas. And the last game in Las Vegas 51's history, Pete Alonso hit a walk-off home run that gave the 51s the victory and allowed the 51s to close out their franchise with a win. And we'll always love him in Las Vegas for that. Of course, being a baseball fan, I was at that game. It was very exciting. And, of course, now our team in Las Vegas is the A's affiliate, the Las Vegas Aviators. But before that, our AAA affiliate was the Las Vegas 51s in downtown Las Vegas at Cashman Field. So we'll put Pete Alonso on the stand in front of Vegas Still Scan because he is a Las Vegas legend. Next card for the day is the Cubs, Luis Salazar, outfield third baseman. Here he is at third base, putting a tag on a player at third base. And Luis Salazar was one of those stopgap third basemen the Cubs had for several years in the 80s after Ron Santo retired. And Luis Salazar played. He played on the Padres, I remember, and a few other teams before coming to the Cubs for a while as a third baseman. Remember his stats for the Cubs. Let's check them out. Looks like in his full season, he hit .254 with 12 home runs, so average stats. And, Luis Salazar. Put him on the Cubs stand for his time spent with the Cubs, third baseman. Next card is a Tom Seaver. Here's Tom Seaver as a member of the Reds. Of course, he had several great years as a member of the Mets before he was traded to the Reds, I believe, for Pat Zachary, which they called... Mets fans were very upset with that trade, I remember. And he would have several more good seasons with the Reds. I remember him also being on the White Sox towards the end of his career. But here he is with the Reds, Hall of Famer, Tom Seaver. Put him on the Hall of Fame stand. Next card is a 1984 Donruss, Jim Rice. Jim Rice is a Hall of Famer as well. And big-time home run hitter, power hitter. Got the stats here at the back of this card. 39 home runs in 79, 24 and 80. 17, 24, and 39 again in 83, where he led the league along with 126 RBIs. Yeah. He's a Hall of Famer, and here he is. Looks like... Not sure. Looks like that chain link fence in the back. Not sure where he is, but might be a spring training game. But yeah, Hall of Famer Jim Rice. We'll put him on the Hall of Fame stand. Next card is a Brett Saberhagen. Brett Saberhagen was a phenom pitcher for the Royals. Had several great seasons, and was eventually traded to the Mets, but he started his career great for the Royals. He was 55 and 39 at the time this card was made. And he was eventually traded to the Mets, I believe, for Kevin McReynolds. But, Brett Saberhagen, good young pitcher and solid pitcher for several years in the mid-'80s into the early '90s. Brett Saberhagen. Next card is Mac Jones. Mac Jones was a player picked in the expansion draft by the Expos. I believe he was the man who hit the first Expos home run, or the first Major League home run in Canada. Mac Jones. And I believe he's played with the Braves. First called up by the Braves in '61. And he hit 39 home runs at Syracuse in 1964 for their AAA team. And Yeah, this card with the Expos. He hit 240 with 14 home runs. But yeah, famous for being the first player, I believe, to hit a home run in MLB in Canada. Mac the Knife. They called him Mac the Knife Jones. Next player is Kurt Gibson. Kurt Gibson, of course, great player for the Tigers, the Dodgers, and played for the Royals for a while. But here he is towards the end of his career. He went back and played with the Tigers. And of course, a lot of people don't know that he was also a All-American wide receiver for Michigan State, and he was drafted in NFL as well as MLB. And of course, he ended up choosing MLB and was a star for the Tigers. He's a Michigan guy, so he got to play for his home state team. And he started there, and then here he is towards the end of his career. He also retired as a Tiger. So Kurt Gibson, and flip him over 1993, and yeah, good career. 1993 pinnacle here, Kurt Gibson, clutch player. Next card is a Charlie Huff. Charlie Huff, of course, a knuckleballer. He would pitch well into his 40s. And here he is for the Rangers. He pitched for the Dodgers for several years, and the Rangers also for several years as a knuckleball pitcher. And, of course, he was taught that knuckleball by Hoyt Wilhelm, kind of the grandfather of the knuckleball. And he parlayed that into a long big league career. And here he is in the mid-'80s, I guess, Donruss 1988 for the Rangers. Charlie Huff, knuckleball specialist. And our last card for the Vegas 9 today is Jose Mesa. Here he is early in his career for the Orioles. Of course, he would go on to be a closer for the Indians in the mid-'90s, and had a lot of success as their closer in the mid-'90s. That reminds me of the recent closer, Emmanuel Clase, who was caught up in some gambling scandal. I thought I read the other day that he might be in serious trouble with that. Of course, I can't believe everything you read on the internet, so I haven't heard anything official, but yeah, Jose Mesa was a great closer for the Indians in the mid-'90s, and yeah, it reminds me kind of Emmanuel Clase, who is their current closer, or was their current closer now. So that'll wrap up the Vegas 9 ball for today. We appreciate you watching. Hope you all have a great day. Hope it bring you back, and take care.